All right, let's talk about something we all do and something we all pretty much hate, waiting in line. I mean, we do it everywhere. The coffee shop, the airport, the grocery store. It's just this dead time that we've all agreed is a necessary evil of life. But what if it's not? What if there's a whole hidden world of psychology and math going on in our heads while we wait? As we're about to find out, the actual time on the clock might be the least important part of the whole experience.
To really get our heads around this, let's just start with a number. 6 months.
That's right. Over the course of an average lifetime, you will spend half a year just waiting. But, this isn't really dead time. It's actually a fascinating battleground where the cold, hard logic of mathematics clashes with the messy, weird, unpredictable chaos of our own minds. And that gets us right to the heart of the matter, doesn't it? What if the minutes and seconds ticking away are actually kind of irrelevant? What if the real story is how we feel about those minutes? What if the entire experience of waiting is just an illusion that can be designed, manipulated, and even controlled?
To understand how, we have to go back, way back, to 1909. Our story starts, believe it or not, in a Copenhagen telephone exchange with a Danish engineer named Agner Erlang. Now, he was just trying to solve a practical problem. How many phone lines does a city need so people don't constantly get a busy signal? But in solving that puzzle, he pretty much accidentally invented the entire science of waiting in line.
So, Erlang's math gives us the definitive answer to that classic supermarket dilemma. Which line is actually better? You've got the multiple parallel lines, the ones that always look shorter, and then you have that one long snaking serpentine line you see at airport security. Well, mathematically, it's not even close. The single serpentine line is almost always faster, and importantly, fairer. Why? Well, think about it. In a parallel system, if one cashier gets stuck with a complicated issue, that whole line just dies. Meanwhile, other cashiers might be free. The serpentine line pools everyone together, so the very next person in line always goes to the next available server. It's just pure, beautiful efficiency.
And this graph shows the terrifying power of something called utilization. Just look at that curve. As a system, doesn't matter if it's cashiers or website servers, gets closer and closer to 100% busy, the wait time doesn't just get a little longer. It explodes. It goes vertical. This is exactly why rush hour traffic suddenly goes from just heavy to a complete parking lot in the span of 5 minutes.
And this number just perfectly illustrates that point. It's wild. In a system that's almost completely maxed out with just one server, if you add a second one, you don't just cut the wait time in half. Under the right conditions, you can reduce the wait time by a factor of 93. It's not intuitive at all. It shows you just how fragile these systems of flow really are.
So, okay, the math is clear, right? Serpentine lines are better. Don't push a system to its limit. But this is where the story gets really interesting, because we are not rational mathematical creatures. We are now entering a world where the objective reality of the clock matters so much less than our perception of it.
So in the 1980s, a management consultant named David Maister just distilled this entire feeling down into one incredibly elegant formula. Satisfaction equals perception minus expectation. What that really means is your happiness has almost nothing to do with how long you actually wait. It's all about how long you thought you were going to wait. If you expect a 10-minute wait and it only takes 5, you're thrilled. If you expect a 2-minute wait and it takes 5, you're furious. Same 5 minutes, totally different reality.
And this idea led to one of the most legendary, almost mythical case studies in the history of waiting. Houston Airport had this massive problem. Endless complaints about how long it took for bags to get to the carousel. So what was their solution? They didn't hire more baggage handlers, no. They moved the arrival gates further away from baggage claim. They made the walk 6 times longer, and for good measure, they installed mirrors along the way. And the result? Complaints dropped to basically 0. The wait time was the same, but because people were occupied walking and checking themselves out in the mirrors, it didn't feel like waiting. This is Mazur's #1 rule in action. Occupied time feels shorter than unoccupied time.
And Meister laid out this whole playbook of these psychological principles. I mean, things like uncertain waits feel longer than known ones. That's why a 10-minute countdown timer feels way shorter than just waiting for 5 minutes with no information. Unfair waits, like when you see someone cut in line, feel agonizingly long. And this one's great. People just want to get started. The simple act of giving someone a menu to look at while they wait for a restaurant table makes the wait feel like part of the service has already begun.
Now, these aren't just some dusty academic theories. They are the literal operating manual for the undisputed heavyweight champions of queue design, Disney.
The Disney Imagineers have turned waiting from a bug into a feature. For a ride like the Haunted Mansion, the line is the beginning of the story. You're not waiting, you're already in the experience. For other rides, they build in interactive games to keep you busy. But my absolute favorite trick they pull? They consistently and purposely overestimate the posted wait times. So when that sign says 60 minutes and you get through in 45, you don't feel like you just waited for 45 minutes. You feel like you won. You beat the system. They are absolute masters of managing your expectations.
But there's a level even deeper than this. It's not just about cold math or our own individual psychology. A line is a collective social agreement. It's a moral contract that we all kind of instinctively sign the moment we get in the back of one. At its very heart, the queue is built on one simple, sacred principle. First come, first served. In a way, it's the ultimate equalizer, right? It doesn't matter if you're a CEO or a college student, your place in line is determined simply by when you showed up. And we take that principle very, very seriously.
And this is why we have such a visceral, primal, angry reaction to line jumpers. The famous psychologist Stanley Milgram, the shock experiment guy, he ran an experiment in the 80s where his team would just cut into lines all over New York City. And people got furious. They would verbally confront them, sometimes even get physical. It wasn't because they lost 30 seconds of their day. It was because the cutter had violated the social contract. They broke the rule. In that moment, regular people in the queue appoint themselves as the enforcers of social order.
So of course, here in the 21st century, the very idea of a line is changing. It's starting to disappear from the physical world, and it's migrating onto our screens, which creates a whole new set of challenges and, you guessed it, a whole new set of tricks.
The new line is the loading screen. It's the little spinner, the progress bar. It's digital latency. And the designers of these systems are using the exact same psychological principles that Meister discovered decades ago to manage our patients online.
You know, a simple spinning wheel just tells your brain, okay, we're working on it, and that reduces anxiety. A progress bar is even better. It gives you a finish line. But then you have the true masters of the craft, like Uber. They don't just give you a timer. That would be amateur hour. They show you a live map of a little car icon literally driving to you. This is absolute genius. It hits two of Meister's principles at once. It occupies your time, and it makes you feel like the service has already begun.
And really, the frontier for all of this, the ultimate goal, is to just make the line completely disappear. Think about those Amazon Go stores where you just grab what you want and walk out. The checkout queue hasn't been optimized. It's been totally eliminated by something called ambient computing.
But here's the thing. This creates a really fascinating paradox. The faster and more seamless everything gets, the more irrationally angry we get at the tiniest little delay, right? When a web page takes an extra half second to load, we lose our minds. It's possible that by removing the wait, we're actually destroying our ability to wait at all.
And that might just be the ultimate truth here. The physical line might vanish, but that underlying tension between what we want and when we can actually have it, that's never going away. We'll just get better at hiding it behind clever user interfaces and predictive algorithms.
So the next time you find yourself waiting, for anything, just remember what's really going on. You're standing at this incredible intersection of mathematics, human psychology, and social justice. A hidden world governed by invisible rules that now you can see. The queue is a social contract, and even as it fades into the background, the ghost of that Danish telephone engineer is still there, counting every single second between our desire and our fulfillment.